Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of my Forza Flashback series. Now today we're back with our 4 class cars, and we're also back on the Sunset Infield circuit. However, this time we're in a 5-lap race against 3 other people, and I'll be honest, they're not the best behaved in the world. So before we get into it, let me just tell you who we've got in this race. Now, the guy on the left there who's gone really wide and is now in the lead, we're going to call white Audi number 2. The guy behind him is white Audi number 1. And then behind me we've got the blue Mustang. Now the reason I've called the leader white Audi number 2 will become apparent in a few seconds. So I got off to a bit of a bad start really, and these 2 white Audis got in front of me quite quickly. Although the blue Mustang didn't really get a good start either, so I stayed in 3rd place throughout the rest of the first lap. Now, as you probably saw earlier, white Audi number 2 has already caused a bit of an offence by cutting the corner to get into the lead in the first place. And you could probably, forgive the white Audi number 1 for being a little bit peeved at that. However, you can't really forgive him for what he does right here, which is just completely take him out of the race. I managed to get round the outside, but then I get hit from behind by the blue Mustang and I'm stone dead last. White Audi number 1 recovered from the crash that he caused quickly enough so that he could chase after the blue Mustang, and you'll see that little battle in the top right hand corner. White Audi number 2 hasn't been too badly affected by the crash either, and he starts chasing after the 2 leaders. I'm the one that's really been affected the most, and I'm really far behind the 2 leaders right now, maybe about the whole length of the pit straight. Now at this point I just can't believe what's happened. I'm the one who thought I was going to be in the lead by overtaking the 2 guys who had taken each other out, and now I'm the one that's now at the back. But the best thing I can do is just start chasing after them and hope that I've got the pace to catch up basically. So thanks to the blue Mustang making a bit of a mistake, white Audi number 1 gets into the lead and starts to settle down for the remaining 3 laps of the race. White Audi number 2 has also closed the gap to the leaders, or at least the blue Mustang, and they start battling out for 2nd place, which you'll see in the top right as well. As for me, well, I'm just plodding around at the back really. I am trying as hard as possible to catch up, and I am aware that there are 3 laps still to go, so it's still a long race. But all I can do at this point is just focus on my lap times and see where I end up. However, as you'll see here, white Audi number 2 has different plans, and he decides to take out the blue Mustang. He stops, to be fair to him, and waits for the Mustang to get back on the track, and I managed to get past both of them obviously quite quickly, and it's a free run between me and the leader. Now, I have to give credit to the white Audi number 2 for stopping after he's caused that accident, and to be fair to the blue Mustang, he also lets off the gas along this straight and allows the white Audi to catch back up to him. So in hindsight, they have done a bit alright there, they've been fair to each other and they continue to battle it out for the rest of the race. I'm obviously not bothered about that. All I want to do is chase down the leader and try to win this race. And at the minute, that's what I am doing. I am noticeably catching the leader, and it's to me just a matter of time before I get on his back bumper and try to overtake. The thing is, as I'm catching up to him, I am mindful of the fact that he's already taken somebody out of the race. So when I do get onto his back bumper and try to overtake, I'm going to have to be careful. Now, I think it's probably worth it to go over a bit of a recap of what everyone's done in this race basically, since quite frankly it's been pretty badly behaved all round. So the blue Mustang took me out of the race, that was pretty clear to see. White Audi number 2 took the blue Mustang out of the race, and earlier on in the race cut a corner to get into the lead. And then we've got white Audi number 1, which took the white Audi number 2 out of the race and isn't quite finished yet, but we'll see that in a second. And I think it's fair to say at this point that I'm quite comfortable with our 4 cars, let's say. Contrary to the last episode where it was one of the first races I'd had with an R4 car, at this point I'd done quite a few of them and I was very comfortable with the car that I used. So I knew how much I could brake and how much I could turn and what the capabilities of the car were. And that is allowing me to be, quite aggressive with my driving style during this race, and very quick to be fair, and it allows me to catch up to the leader quite well. Now there are 2 laps remaining in this race and I have already caught up to the back of the leader, and basically I want to take my time with it. I'm aware that he's taken someone out of the race and I don't want to push him too hard, otherwise he might do the same to me. I'd rather get a clean pass and be able to just fly off into the distance and leave him behind me. That doesn't quite happen though, unfortunately. Now I try this move here because he's gone on the inside and took a defensive line, and I know that I've got better brakes, so I dive up the inside. But then look what happens. He does the same thing again and takes me out basically. Now to be fair to him, he does brake a little bit to sort of allow me to, stay on his back bumper, but he doesn't stop, and I was ahead of him. He took me out. Really what he should have done if he wanted to make amends for it was stop and allow me to get in front of him again. He doesn't, and he just decides to brake and he carries on as normal. So he's still ahead of me and the 2 guys behind have basically caught up quite a bit. So at this point I'm pretty annoyed. I've seen him take off someone earlier on in the race and I've been taken off by another car, and then just as I make the pass for the lead I get taken off again. So I do a huge dive up the inside on this final lap and he still clips me just a little bit there, and then there's a little bit more argy-bargy, but then for some reason he goes right off wide into the right and I somehow get in front of him. I don't know what happened there, but he then makes a mistake by hitting the wall, and basically that's pretty much it. I'm in the lead and there's no way I'm giving this up anymore. What's quite funny to me is that we're on the 5th lap out of 5 and all 4 of our cars are sort of together. We're about as close as what we were on the 1st lap, which normally you would say that was shown quite close racing between all of us, but in this case it's probably more the fact that we've all been taken out so much that we're all just together as a natural consequence of that. But anyway, I'm in the lead now. I'm faster than these guys, as I've shown, because I've been able to catch them and pass them, and now all I'm trying to do is get away and get to the finish line first. As you saw there though, white Audi number 1 does try one last ditch effort to try and win the race by cutting that corner hugely, so he's definitely been the worst offender. But it doesn't work out for him and he's pretty lucky to stay in 2nd ahead of the blue Mustang coming up behind him really. And that's it guys for Forza Flashback number 8. We managed to get the win despite some pretty poor behaviour from my opponents, and this race probably ranks as one of my favourites of all time on Forza, just simply through triumphing over adversity. So let me know if you've had any races like this where you've suffered from bad behaviour from opponents. I know it happens quite often, especially on Horizon, and tell me your stories of what people have done in races like this. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.